Is it live? Can you hear me? Hello? हो जाएगा.
Is audio okay?
I don't know. Can you hear us? Is it playing? Can you see us? Can you see us? Okay. एक बार refresh कर दो भाई. Can you hear me? Something is up with your computer, I think. एक बार वो सब तारवा निकाल के just see if it's coming on the computer first. Hello? 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 You can't hear us. But you can see us. You can see us, right? Achha, can you connect your phone to the speakers? हाँ, बस अपने हेडफोन जैक में स्पीकर का तार डाल दो. ओ सॉरी, ऑडियो का आउटपुट तार डाल दो. फोन से तो आवाज आ रही है ना? हाँ. Can you hear us? हाँ. But this will work otherwise, yeah. If you can see us, then you can just hear us. Put the audio through the phone. It'll be fine. It'll actually be better. You can hear us? Can you hear us?
Video.
Can you hear us? सुनाई दे रहा है ना?
Video आ रहा है.
ठीक है, so let's just do a quick test. So I'm going to say A B C D. कट के आ रही है ना? So I think your data connection might be a little slower. That's why I'm saying कट के आ रही है, clearly आ रही है. कट के आ रही है, then you connect it to the phone because that will be better as long as you can see us. आ रही है? So if I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is it in sync? One, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're fine? It's clear, right? Okay. So should we start? Should I get sir? That's fine. That's by design. So so that it's clearer. That's okay, right? Otherwise clear, right? So I'm going to once again just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just make sure you can hear it.
Education for tomorrow.
So 5. ठीक है ना? Okay. I'm going to ask sir to sit down. ठीक है? All right. So can you raise this chair? Or is it?
Yes, I can bring another chair.
Because it might be. Guys, can I tilt this?
Yeah, you can tilt it. No, you can't.
Like this chair? It's a little bit higher.
Be careful. You get all the way there. Yeah.
Because I'm reasonably tall. I wasn't visible. So, yeah, that looks fine. All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Looks good. So I will just give you the go ahead when they can hear you.
Okay.
Phone kar dijiye. If you want to speak.
Can you see Dr. Swami? So we can start. You want some sample? Okay, very good. All set. So this start.
Yeah, Angrezi or Hindi?
Angrezi, Hindi. Yeah, sure.
हाँ जी, नमस्कार। जी। In English or Hindi? All right. Okay, shall I start? Okay. Dear friends, I'm very happy to be able to address you today, despite the fact that I had accepted the invitation from Dr. Stuti for coming there personally and making a presentation. But due to certain urgent requirements in Delhi, I could not leave. And therefore, I'm making a brief presentation through this electronic device. The Education of Tomorrow is a very important conference because of several factors. One is, of course, the most important factor is that India has the largest population of people below the age of 35. In fact, our country, the number of people below the age of 35 is 70% of the population. The average age of the Indian is only 26 years old, whereas the average age of China is 35. The average age of United States is 37. The average age of Europe is 46. The average age of Japan is 50 years. Now, so there's most of these other countries, large countries, they're aging countries, whereas India has a very young population, and which means it is important to know that economic growth in any country is really not so much due to more capital and more labor, but due to better innovations. Industrial revolution came and lifted England to developed status because of the new innovation of locomotives and also the fact that they were able to build, create steel out of Bessemer steel plant and blast furnace. Similarly, the Americans were able to bring in integrated production systems and later on jet engines. And recently, they also brought in the innovation of internet, which was by which they were able to globalize their activities without difficulty. In fact, you could run several branches of a company in several countries sitting in one place in New York. That is what internet has made it possible. Plus, of course, the fast communication in terms of writing letters, etc., which the internet has made possible. So every time there is an innovation of this kind, which is called epochal innovation, that is for each epoch or each stage of history, there is a specific innovation. In the 21st century, we are expecting that there will be new innovation on nanotechnology. We will see miniaturization in a form which makes it possible for you to access a tremendous number of technologies at home itself. And new kinds of fuel. Instead of petrol, you will be using hydrogen fuel cells. And instead of coal, you will be using nuclear power, particularly thorium, for which India has about 60% of the world's supply. So all this combined, these factors, this innovation, plus the young population, India is in a unique place because it is the young people who will be making these innovations. They come fresh out of universities and therefore have got fresh minds, and therefore much of the research they can do before they reach the age of 40. So therefore India is in a privileged position, but there is a but in it, because you have to educate these people and educate them in such a way that they become innovators in society. So therefore, the education for tomorrow theme that you've selected is extremely important. What kind of education we are going to have? First of all, let me say that education does not mean just cognitive intelligence, developing cognitive intelligence. Cognitive intelligence means knowing physics, mathematics, economics, that sort of thing. Disciplines, complexities, solving problems. These are called cognitive intelligences. When you know where 2 plus 2 equals 2, when the 2 plus 2 equals to 4, when it was first discovered, it was called cognitive intelligence, and then algebra, and then calculus, and so on. But that's a very small part of intelligence now. What is needed to be developed for education in tomorrow is the other kinds of intelligences which is required for you to become a good citizen in a country. For instance, there is now something called the emotional intelligence, which is essentially how to communicate, because now communication techniques have become so advanced. So you must know how to communicate. So the way of speaking in such a way that the other party becomes persuaded by your arguments and not be repelled by your arguments, that technique is called emotional intelligence. The way to work your emotions in such a way that the other person feels impelled to agree with you and come along with you and get converted. So this is a great art, and many of these maniacal dictators had it. So therefore, this is a tremendous weapon which can be used both ways. Hitler, for example, was a great one at emotional intelligence, but then he used that emotional intelligence for converting people to do wrong things. Here we need to develop emotional intelligence to make sure that the people come into becoming good social citizens. There is another aspect of intelligence which is called moral intelligence, where you cut your actions, you design your actions, you tailor your actions in such a way that you don't harm anybody. And that, for example, if I'm a capitalist and I start a factory in a neighborhood where there's a big colony, and then pump smoke into the atmosphere, I will be causing health problems for that colony where people live. That is, but I'll be maybe making profit. So from a personal point of view, definitely that is a very profitable exercise to have this factory. But from a moral point of view, you are in effect harming the society. And therefore you should have the moral intelligence to know how to design your actions in such a way that people and the society's enhanced, its strength is increased. So therefore, the moral intelligence is also very important with emotional intelligence. And moral intelligence is there, then you will not misuse your emotional intelligence. Then there's a fourth intelligence, which is called social intelligence, where you design your actions in such a way that the society is benefited, it becomes a better society. When we advocate that mother and son, or father and daughter, or husband and wife, brothers and sisters, they must behave in a certain way. They must look after each other, as we have in our Asian societies, particularly Indian society, where we have a very healthy regard for our own parents. It's not like in America, where the moment you become an adult, you abandon your parents and go away. Or for example, in animal life also, when the pup becomes big, it leaves the parents and it goes away. So the society crumbles in that. Same thing, we try very hard for our marriages to work and see that they remain. There are some countries where 50% of the marriages end up in divorce, but India still has very low divorce rate because of the concept of adjusting for the sake of society and family. That's called social intelligence. And finally, there is the intelligence, which is called spiritual intelligence, which is the thing that we must most of all develop. And that is based on the principle that the cosmos is where the knowledge is. In the cosmos, we call in Sanskrit as Brahmand. And that's where all the knowledge is stored. And if you can, your mind can concentrate to link to that cosmos, then you'll get all the knowledge that is there, all the knowledge that was in the past, the present, the future, is all there in the Brahman. And that, if you can tune your mind, and because the brain has waves, and that is therefore Americans call this the spiritual intelligence as neural Wi-Fi. That is, your brain has a Wi-Fi connection with the Brahman. And that is what makes people into geniuses. Some people are more intelligent than others because they concentrate. Why our Rishi Munis of the past used to meditate for such a long time? Just to develop this neural Wi-Fi. That now we are asked to start teaching in our schools and curriculum. So this is one aspect, this multidimensional intelligence we have to develop. We are also moving to an area where we are going into what is called as online education. The new program developed in MIT called EDX, where you have virtual classroom. I can program and then sit in the classroom at Harvard, MIT, or Columbia, or Stanford in America, and participate in the class through the laptop or through your tabletop. And even take examinations, and even in fact in the future get degrees. It's possible now to get a degree from a world famous university without actually physically going there. This is something which is would be a great boon for India to develop. I'm happy that the Human Resource Development Ministry is actively working on this to see that instead of having foreign universities come here and open campuses that has happened in China, we work through this online method. So that will be another education for tomorrow, that we use the knowledge that is being given in the best schools and best colleges and universities abroad, and we access it here. And as you know, that means even rural areas in India can participate. So I would say in the long run, we will have to now become multi-language people. So languages have to be taught. And I think as the artificial intelligence study in the NASA now shows, that Sanskrit may emerge as a language which is now the most computer-friendly language. So learning of Sanskrit is also, in my opinion, an essential part for the education of tomorrow. In India, we have so many languages, but they all have Sanskrit vocabulary. Some of them more, some of them less. For example, Tamil has about 40% of its words common with Sanskrit or borrowed from Sanskrit, whereas Bengali may have 80% and Gujarati may have 60%. But the percentage may vary, but there's a fairly large number of words of Sanskrit in all the Indian languages. And if we can develop a common script, which is the Devanagari script, which we learn in addition to our mother tongue, then communication with India would also become easier. So I think our education for the future also must think in terms of national integration, how to bring the country together. These are some of the thoughts I thought I would put across to you. I'm sorry I missed the opportunity to be with you and be present, but I'm very thankful to Dr. Stuti for having been so accommodative and understanding. And I hope to look forward to another opportunity to be with you. Thank you very much.
You want to answer questions?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi, it's over.
You'll answer questions.
Did you have some? No. Do you want two-way communication? No, I don't know if you have. Fine. So no question and answer session. No. Okay. Thank you. Two-way communication.
चल रहा है ना लेकिन चल रहा है ना
हाँ चल रहा है.
ठीक है All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I have to thank you. This saved me a lot of